As promised, with the holiday weekend ending and 2 or 3 more weeks of school before Christmas, I wanted to share some of the concerns and the challenges that we have as educators with many of our students who are entering this mid-year term, going into their classroom environments or back to their home environments where there doesn't feel to be a lot of safety or predictability. What does that mean for us as teachers? Last week in our classrooms where I was teaching, we had some significant behavioral issues. And if we peel back the layers of those behaviors, oftentimes at the end of the school year, when students are getting ready to leave a classroom that has really embraced social and emotional learning, and when they are entering into a long summer vacation, which is not much different than 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks at Christmas, we see children and adolescents who are resisting this change in a very nonverbal way. The brain craves structure and routine and ritual. And so this afternoon, I want to share a couple of strategies as we enter into this holiday season, which for many of us feels joyful and celebratory. But for so many of our students, this time of year is filled with questions, with concerns, and with the unknown. And as teachers who sit beside our children and our adolescents, we are very well aware of some of the environments that our students will return home to. John Sita and Larry Brintrow research a topic entitled family privilege. And I loved learning about this because it has nothing to do with financial privilege. It is all about the emotional connections that are made within a family system. Classrooms can create family privilege. That's actually one of my goals in my undergraduate work and in my graduate classes and with 3rd, 4th, and 5th and 6th graders, is to help the teachers and for me to create that family privilege that is about emotional connection, and it crosses over all socioeconomic thresholds and racial, boundaries. It's not about that at all. It is about connection. And many of our children and adolescents are returning to environments that don't have that family privilege, that emotional connection. And what we see is because the brain craves as much structure and as many boundaries and loves routine and needs that to develop in a very healthy way, we also have to begin to think about in these next few weeks, how can I in my classroom provide some strategies to non-verbally let my students know that I am there, I am present, even though I may not be in person present, but I'm still there. So a couple of the things that I wanted to share today is the importance of a talisman. A talisman could be a coin, it could be a rock, it could be a piece of string, it could be a ribbon tied around your wrist or your ring that you share with your students. Today, I went to the dollar store with Reagan and I bought a jar of marbles. And I'm thinking about how I can use these marbles and to give the students a marble with a note, with an affirmation, with gratitude I have for them as we separate at the end of this semester. A talisman says, I am present. We can get those at the end of the year because even though we may not be with our students the following year, it lets them know relationships change, they don't end. So I want you to think about how you can create an object that you could share with them as they enter into this holiday break. Photos are a great way to stay connected, and setting up a makeshift photo booth in your classroom and creating really fun, joy-filled photos of action shots, of camaraderie, of activities that you have done, putting funny captions on those, hanging them from a Christmas tree. And then as the students leave, they can take a couple of those photos home with them. Creating a classroom tree would be a wonderful way to end the semester. Instead of a family tree, a classroom tree would show how we connected with each other. Even though we had challenging and difficult times this semester, a school classroom tree says, here is how we connected, and it gives them an opportunity to reflect and to remember those times that were so important, and then to take a picture of that classroom tree. Also, affirmation and I am present notes at the end of the year, handwriting a sentence or two, what you really appreciated this semester, what the student taught you this semester. I learned this from you. And even if it was through contrast, what a great way to share even those negative moments, even those conflictual moments. This is what I learned from you this semester. So it is a busy time for all of us. I know that we're doing some testing and we've got the regular classroom routine, but we can build these strategies into our procedures and our transitions over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Until next time.